what I learned over the years is that if I'm gonna date someone that's in the streets, I have to be able to pick up his slack whenever he gets picked up.
Makes sense.
You know, and that comes with
smarter.
I have to take care of the bills. I have to make sure that he's good. I have to make sure if he has kids, I have to make sure that I can provide for his kids as if he's still outside.
Would I feel bad for a person who chooses to date a person that literally is showcasing bad decisions?
Good point, Rico.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm just saying. So like, okay. If you're dating someone who's in the streets,
is there something that you want to tell us?
that's older. What do you think? Older or younger? If you
Doesn't matter. You in the streets.
But like, what if you guys are both young and you just don't realize that this is something that can?
We all realize. We all get that gut feeling that you know is wrong.
When you're younger, you're just more carefree though, so you don't even realize that life is a real thing that you have to take serious. So that you might be like, oh, I'm just join a gang, but you don't realize that this gang might take over your life.
You know, you're dating someone that's in the streets, and there's outcomes to being in the streets. You know, there's consequences, and I feel like a lot of women and men, they don't consider that until it's too late. You know, now you have 2 babies, and your baby daddy got killed yesterday,
or jail.
But it's like when you're dating someone that's in the streets, you have to realize that it comes with consequences.
But that's been a big thing lately too, though.
It is, 100%. And I feel like people don't really think about that when they're dating someone that's in the streets. They just like have this fairy tale that they're gonna have, you know, a family and stuff, and everything's gonna go great for the rest of their life. But honestly, that time will come eventually, and either you have to be prepared, or you know, cry and act like you didn't know, but you knew.
So I ain't gonna lie, like I ain't never been with nobody in the street. What is a realistic expectation?
Okay, not to throw none of our friends' business out there. Example, we have a friend. She decided to date someone, and we all told her it was a bad decision because she had just gotten out there in the world dating men again. We know he's a jailbird. Listen, he's only gonna be out here a couple of months. He's gonna go back in there. Now she's constantly sad and depressed because her man's in jail and she doesn't know when he's gonna come out.
But she's around because of the lifestyle that he can provide for her, though. Obviously, it's a lifestyle thing.
When he's only out or just overall?
Like when he's in jail,
in general, like
he gotta be.
In general, like he provides a certain lifestyle.
But
if he goes in, at the moment. But what happens when he now goes in?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but you can't be sad when you know that time was coming. Like if I'm dating someone that is in the streets, right? I know that sooner or later they're gonna come pick his ass up, or he's gonna get killed.
Clink.
And the chances of him actually making it 100%, you know, throughout life with no consequences is really, really low. And I feel like if I'm gonna date you, I have to be aware of the consequences, and I have to be okay when you go to jail, and I have to be, you know, not okay, but it's coming.
No, you're right. You're right.
You gotta be okay with
and
it.
A lot of girls be like
So I just want to
dating.
play devil advocate right now, because since you said that, so is that the same thing for like when you guys are dating older men? Then like,
No.
You got to be prepared for when they.
No,
when you
it's not the same.
When he decides to say no more of daddy's credit card.
It's not, and I'll say this, it's not the same because when you have an older man and a younger woman, an older person with a younger person, the older person has an incredible amount of influence on the younger person and what they're doing. If you somebody in the streets has an influence on you, and those are your decisions to be involved with that.
Gotcha.
Like nobody's talking to you about it. Nobody is in your ear about it. Nobody's, you know, like enticing you with the benefits of this lifestyle. You know, so it's.
Like
I'm about to say, wait, can I explain something? As a former street guy myself.
Get life insurance.
Thank you.
What I will say is, no, they entice you. First of all, the way women get enticed by men in the streets is by.
Let me know, because I have
by
no
his
idea.
status. No, it's his status in the streets.
his voice changed?
How he move,
He's a fuck.
everybody knows who he is. You know what I'm saying?
It's not that.
He gets mad. He gets mad respect. Right now, there are some bozos in the streets that women do fall for. Don't get me wrong. But I'm talking about the ones that she's saying that can go to jail, come out, and still be lit. The only way you get lit is if you already have that respect. And the only way you got that respect is by doing what you had to go do in the first place. Because nobody gives you a second chance when you come back out to really be on top, to really be lit. You understand? There's a lot of people selling O's. You're not lit if you're selling O's.
Now,
you feel what I'm saying?
What are you gonna do if there is no coming out?
No. I'm saying it's wrong, but what I'm saying is they influence them with their power of the streets. The same way as the older man is influencing with power of their money. It's still it's realistically a power trip, in my personal opinion, women love a man that's respected, that has some type of power. He doesn't have to have all the power, but he has respect amongst his peers. He has respect amongst strangers, and he has enough power to do what it is that which y'all both might like.
And time, though, because sometimes we just want a man that has time, like time to give us, time to go on vacation, time to hang out with me,
Think
time
about
for us
it.
to be up under each
How
other's
many people,
bodies.
Jada, how many people in the streets have a job?
That's what I'm saying. That's
how
a
much time
luxury.
does he
The
have?
streets is the job.
Yeah, but he has
But that's a
time to
luxury. He might
give
have
to
runners.
you. I go home,
Yep.
I bust a trap, I come back.
No, he doesn't even have to do that. He has runners that does those types of
Oh,
things.
he has runners.
So you
hip to the lingo.
I'm just saying, like,
there is, listen, what I'm saying is there is an ending to that story. Eventually, it's gonna come sooner or later. Are you prepared to date this person who's in the streets, right? Are you prepared when that time comes?
You don't think
Most
about it.
women are not prepared. You know, you're dating this man that's going to jail eventually. You're not prepared. Now he go to jail and now you're on your ass. Look,
I'm not gonna lie, I have no idea.
so is dating a street dude outdated?
Anybody that sells drugs is in the streets.
Nah, hell no.
What are you, a professional drug
I
seller?
know. I know.
You've been watching Power.
No.
You are not ghosts.
This is real life. There's a lot of there's people that sell drugs that you would never guess sell drugs, but they would never.
course.
They're not in the streets. You're not gonna see them in the beef.
those are
But everybody-
It's still part of the streets. When I mean streets, meaning you're going to jail or you're dying.
Everybody is not ghosts from
like-
Power.
So I don't mean like you actually have to
In
be
the
on
field.
the corner selling some drugs.
Yeah.
When we say
New
you
Jack
in the
City.
streets, either you going to jail or you dying.
What's your lifestyle?
What's your lifestyle?
I call that
So
the
you
field.
can have a suit on and sell all the drugs you want. You're still in the streets. You're still going to jail eventually.
Honestly, so do you guys think like dating a street dude is played out now, or what are we thinking?
I don't think it's played out, but I think that women don't really actually think about the consequences that come with it, and they're not prepared. So we see a lot of young and older women that they date this men that are out in the streets, and when they get caught up, they're back at zero. Because you didn't prepare yourself for that time. And honestly, I kind of blame the men themselves. Because if you know you're in the streets and you're the provider, you need to make sure that your woman can pick up your slack
Like
when
Gucci?
you
But you just said though, like there's an end to every story. So why don't you, since you know I'm about to get locked up, why don't you start to prepare yourself too, so we both prepare?
But this is the thing, right?
He got the money.
Most of the time, men with money, they don't want their woman to have money. They want to control them. You know, and that's a topic that we have this discussion
That's
at the
the
house
topic
all
right
the
now.
time. they want to control them because a woman with money, you
talk about
can't
that.
run her over. You can't do what you want to do. You can't get away with what you want to. You're doing out in the streets. We're on your app, right? He needs to teach his woman, and he needs to carefully choose his woman, right, for when that time comes. Because when that time comes, somebody got to pick up your slack, and it's not gonna be your right hand man because he's gonna burn you anyways. All right, let me tell you. And I'm saying that because I've done a lot of bids in my lifetime. I've done a lot of bids in my lifetime as a friend and
Like
as
secondhand
a
bids?
lover. No, meaning as like,
good
yeah,
friend.
you know, as a partner.
Yeah, so a secondhand
like, you
bid.
never been in jail.
You ain't do the bid.
I thought jail.
Right, that's a secondhand bid.
Oh, you did time?
No.
Ayisha, you more thorough than I thought.
If I'm dating someone that's in the streets, right, and I learned this at a young age, right, because I came from Omaha, Nebraska, and apparently there was nothing better to date out there.
Nebraska?
Wait.
Nebraska.
Stop.
Oh, are you fucking kidding?
Stop.
You're from Nebraska?
I'm from Nebraska.
Out of all places in America?
I was born in New York, but I was raised in Nebraska.
Oh, okay.
And all we had today was men that are in the streets.
Because
Now-
they sell meth, right?
Listen, I don't know what they're selling because I just mind my fucking business.
she's
But
like,
I learned,
Nebraska seems real methy.
It does get
baby.
Messy.
No, methy. No, like methy.
No, I heard you.
You've been messy. So I learned this at a young age, right? And this happened because when I was younger, I was dating someone who's in the streets. When he went in, I was left with zero. And I was just like, why did I didn't have my shit together? But he made it to the point where I was not being taken care of, but he was a provider. But he never actually taught me how to provide for myself or for him.
In the event.
So what would
In
you
the
have done
event.
differently?
So, I mean, now, because
Yeah. No,
the
let's say you
story
were
had
in that
repeated
same
with
situation.
different, people. What I learned over the years is that if I'm going to date someone that's in the streets, I have to be able to pick up his slack
Right.
whenever he gets picked up,
Makes sense.
And that comes
Be
with,
smarter.
I have to take care of the bills. I have to make sure that he's good. I have to make sure if he has kids, I have to make sure that I can provide for his kids as if he's still outside. And most men, they date women and they damage them and do all this bullshit out, while they're out. And when they go in, they don't have nobody. You don't have no one because while you was out here in the streets, you was doing her dirty. So why would she want to hold you down when you was doing her dirty? Like, for what?
She was
When you
doing
come
you
out,
right.
you're gonna do me dirty again. And on top of that, some of them, they go inside and they continue to do the same bullshit that they was doing while they were out. But the only person that's standing on your curtain is the girl that was laying next to you this whole time. Right. Now, being selfish, you didn't set her up and you didn't actually explain to her, like, listen, eventually I'm going to get picked up. What are you going to do when it happens?
This is the game. They need to give you the game.
And a lot of girls don't know. They just there happy, enjoying the time, the purses, the vacations and stuff. But that time is going to come. And reality is that a lot of us learn it a little too late, but I learned it early. It's like, okay, these are the consequences. And eventually my man is either going to be taken away or he's going to die. And if we do make it to, a lifetime, it's a blessing. But the reality is that
there's no if.
There's a if. There's people that actually make it and change their life around and become successful.
Yeah, I mean,
not really just a different someone that's actually
lifetime street dude. Like he has to change. He has to.
Transition. Some of them transition and some of them do change, but most of them don't.
Well, then really start
don't.
washing money or something.
Let me tell you something. You can transition and you can change, but your past will forever hunt you. You could have done something in 2011.
You're going to be forever worried about it.
And it could come hunt you at 2023.
She must have heard my story, man.
Don't let that statute of limitation now run
out. The table.
I have a lot of friends that actually going through it, and I'm just like, listen, if you're gonna date this man, you gotta be, and you love him, and you're gonna be with him forever. You gotta be prepared that when he goes in, you can pick up his slack.